The new SCHUFA score has recently been launched. This score was a black box. People did not know how their credit score in Germany was created. Now the new SCHUFA score is more clearer as they have defined the 12 points that count towards your credit score in Germany. But there are points which negatively affect expats and especially newer people coming to Germany. Before this new SCHUFA score was launched, my credit score was usually fluctuating between 99.8 to about 98.9%. But with this new scoring system, my score is about 750 points at this moment. Let me explain how this new SCHUFA system is working. To get your SCHUFA score, you have to register with their services and it's totally free of cost. If you're interested, you can use the first link in the description, or if you're using my platform, you can click this get your score button. You just have to sign up with your phone number and your email address. Once you have registered with their app, you would get your SCHUFA score for free. So let me share the 12 points which can affect your credit score in Germany. So the first point is payment disruptions. If you're using any services in Germany and if you had failed to pay any of your bills, this means that there was a payment disruption. So depending on the amount of payment disruptions you have, the higher or lower scores you will get. For example, if you had joined a gym and forgot to pay any of their payments, then this means you have an open disruption. So if you have one, you do not get any score. And if you have resolved any of your previous disruptions within this year, then you get 100 points. If this disruption was resolved at least 1 year ago, then you get 135 points. If you don't have any disruptions, you get 264 points. This means that any disruption in payments can decrease up to 264 points for you. This can be a huge difference from you getting a decent interest or you getting decent conditions on any of your contracts to not getting accepted to any financial services at all. That's why it's important to check your SCHUFA score or your credit score in Germany at regular intervals. And more specific for expats in Germany, if you're new here, check your old addresses because sometimes your contract providers send your bills to your previous address and you not being there, you miss out on paying those contracts. The second point is any recent bank accounts or credit card applications or openings. The fewer openings or applications within the last 12 months, the better it is. For example, if you have 0 inquiries or 0 openings, you get 117 points. Here, the difference between inquiries and openings is that let's say you apply to open a bank account. Now, this would be considered as an inquiry. It does not matter if that bank account was opened or not. So the point distribution is 117 points with 0 inquiries or openings, 82 points with 1 inquiry or opening, and with more than 3 inquiries or openings for credit cards or bank accounts, you get 0 points. So this is also a negative point for people who are constantly account hopping to get the best interest rates. So instead of account hopping, I would say try to find a good account that is giving you good conditions and try to remain with them for as long as possible. The third category is inquiries outside the banking sector. So here outside the banking sector could be online retailers, telecom, installments, and similar checks that add up over the last 12 months. You generally don't think that these kinds of payment methods would count negatively towards your SCHUFA score, but as this new publication has been given by SCHUFA, now you know that you should try to avoid these options as much as possible. Please hit the like button if you're getting value from this video, hit the hype button if you see it, and consider subscribing. And let me know in the comments if you have any feedback. Even a thumbs up emoji is really appreciated. The next point is changing your address. Now this is a very weird thing, but thankfully there aren't much points connected to this criteria. But even then, here, the longer you stay at a residence or at an address, the more points you get. So for example, if you have been living at a place for less than 7 months, you get 0 points. For more than 7 months, you get 6 points. And more than 20 years, you get 94 points. So obviously, this point is great for people who have a really stable life and don't move quite often. They do get 94 points if they have been living at the same place for 20 years. But for most expats, this is a category where they will definitely lose a lot of points. So try to keep your address as consistent as possible. Try to avoid unnecessary address changes, especially try not to move quite often if buying a real estate property is in your near-term horizon. So let's say within the next 2 to 3 years, you want to buy a real estate property because these points do add up. So the next point is the age of your oldest bank contract. So this is again one thing that you can definitely lose a lot of points if you are account hopping or you change your bank account quite often. Longer stable history can make a difference here. So it's better not to have a bank account than have one which is less than a year old. According to the conditions, you get 18 points if you have no bank account. If your oldest bank account is less than 3 months old, you get 0 points. And if your bank account is about 20 years old, you get 69 points. You can do two things. Either try to find the most optimal account where you can open your account and keep it running for a long term, or change it as quickly as possible when you arrive in Germany. Point number 6 in a 12-point SCHUFA system is your oldest credit card. I would say in many cases, if you use a credit card properly, this can be a great positive for you. Unfortunately, you do not see a lot of benefits that directly relate to credit cards compared to the US or other countries. But even then, if you find a decent credit card, for example, the DF Bank credit card, you have a lot of benefits in terms of travel insurance, baggage insurance, and so many things that it can make sense if you use it properly. If you don't have a credit card, you get 24 points. But the older your credit card gets, the more points you have. Now, a good point would be not to open a credit card just for the score, but for the utility. For example, if you like to travel, then you get travel insurance. And if you want to rent a car, then obviously you cannot rent one without having a credit card. So try to find a decent one. I personally prefer the TF Bank credit card. You can get that card using the link in the description at no additional cost to you if you want to support this channel. Next is the identity verification. So when you get your SCHUFA score, you can just add your identity details with SCHUFA and you get your points. But if you verify your identity with SCHUFA, you get an additional 38 points. Point number 8 is your youngest framework credit. A good thing here is you don't lose any points and get full 36 points if you don't have any ramen credit. If it's under 1 year, you get 0 points. If it's at least 1 year, then it's 60 points, or at least 2 years, then you get 36 points. Point number 9 is your installment loans in the last 12 months. Again, this is a point connected to one of the previous ones. The lesser amount of Ratenzahlung you have, the better it is. So if you don't have any installment loans, you get 66 points. With one loan, you have 48 points. With two, you get 32. And with more than three, you get 0 points. As an expat, try to avoid installment loans altogether. And point number 9, real estate loans are characterized separately. Point number 10 is your longest remaining term of installment loan. Connected to point number 9, if you don't have any installment loans running at this moment, you get 61 points in addition to the previous points of having 0 installments of 66 points. So if you do have any installment loans running, if it is up to 3 years, then you get 61 points. And if it's at least 3 years remaining, then you get 48 points. The longer the installment loan period is. So at 6 years remaining, you get 0 points. So again, connected to point number 9 and 10, if you have an installment loan, if it's completed positively, you get 19 points. If you don't have any installment loans, you get 9 points. It's a weird kind of a scoring system. If you do have a running credit, you get positive points. If you don't have one, then you get less points here. But even then, compared to the last two categories, you do get more points if you have successfully completed any installment loans. And the 12th and final point is real estate loan or guarantees. So if you have a real estate loan running, or if you have been a guarantor for someone else's real estate loan, then you get plus points. In having a loan or being a guarantor, you get 55 points, and having no loan or not being a guarantor, you get 0 points. So all of the content in this video is a tool that I have made on my website ahsanfinance.com. You can use the first link in the description to get into this platform and learn everything about SCHUFA. You can also use a hygiene quiz to figure out what points you should look into based on your own conditions. I have also created an action checklist which can help you improve your SCHUFA score. I think the new SCHUFA score is providing more clarity, but for expats in Germany, I think it is a bit on the negative side. It's not possible to have a really great score as an expat in Germany. Now, your SCHUFA score is just one of the things that you should understand about Germany. This video, I share some of the other important points. And in this video, I share how to build wealth in Germany.